privacy principle. There are 5 sub-principles to the privacy principle. The first one is it prevents judgment. You know that every time you go to start a diet program and you mention anything about your desire to lose weight or your attempt to try something new or do this or do that, you know what your loved ones are going to say. And they love you very much, but it's going to be a mom or a sister or a friend, and it can be the simplest little comment of them saying, "Oh, well, let me know how long this time lasts." You've immediately opened yourself up for judgment and criticism when you share it with your loved ones. So that's the first point to the privacy principle, is it prevents judgment from coming your way when you keep it private. And that's what we're here to do. We are here to protect you from the judgment. That's the first thing that we do, is remove the judgment. And then after that, we need to protect you from more judgment. So it prevents judgment. The second thing that it does is it provides blessing. So here's an example of how it provides blessings to everyone around you. My Grandpa Bennett used to be the chef of the family. He would have all the family over on Sunday afternoon, and he would grill chicken and make brats and make his famous potato salad. And he was a big food pusher, you know, the type, the big food pushers. And he wanted everyone to come over and eat and eat and eat and eat. And so I would go over there and I would get my plate of food with my appropriate portions and I would eat. Grandpa didn't know I was trying to lose weight. So his first natural thing to say was, "Come on, Shelley, eat more. Eat more, Shelley, eat more." Okay, and I asked myself, what does Grandpa want? Does he really want me to eat more and gain weight? I don't think so. I think what Grandpa wants is he wants validation that his cooking is delicious. So I said, I can give that to Grandpa. I can give him validation verbally. "Grandpa, this is delicious. Grandpa, this is the best chicken I've ever had. Best potato salad in the world, Grandpa, like always." Okay? So I would give him that validation verbally and not tell him that I was on a diet. Now, in doing so, I provide blessing. This is the second principle to keeping it private, is it provides blessings to everyone around you. If I had told Grandpa, "Oh, I'm on a diet, I'm watching my weight, I can't eat anymore, Grandpa, I'm on a diet," what have I done? I have put him on the spot to respond to that statement, "I'm trying to lose weight." Do you know what a spot that puts people on? He has one of 2 ways to reply. He could, as typically many people hear, he could say, "Oh, you don't need to worry about that." Well, now I've made him a liar, because that's a lie. I did need to worry about my weight. But I put him on the spot to say, "Oh, you don't need to worry about that." Now I've made him a liar. The other choice that he has is to say, "Oh, good. Yeah, good, Shelley." Now I've made him a jerk. So every time that you put someone on the spot to reply to your weight concern, you make them either a liar or a jerk. You provide blessings to everyone around you by keeping it private.
I agree. I always wondered why every time that I ever said to someone, "Oh, I'm on a diet, I'm watching what I'm eating," there felt like this anxiety around what I was passing on to them as far as information and the way that they then are put on the spot to have 2 outcomes that are neither are good.
Right, right. And you've now given them, "This is my problem, now I'm making it yours."
Right. That's a big burden.
That it's a big burden to people for them to take on your problems. And when you say, "Well, I'm watching my weight, I'm on a diet," they just naturally take that on as their problem, and they're going to say, "Oh, you don't need to worry about that."
Right.
Which again makes them a liar. So it provides blessing to everyone around you to keep it private. It propels self-discipline. Now I want you to think about this, okay? You're going to go out there and you're going to be with a group of friends, or maybe your mom or mother-in-law, sister-in-law, and they're all talking. Talk about our diet and our weight and this food and our exercise and our workout routine, and they're all talk. And you are going to be tempted to jump into that conversation. And you're going to go, well, oh, but Shelly told me to keep it private, so I'm going to bite my tongue. And then you're out with friends again and talk. And you'll be like, well, bite your tongue again. I want you to think about this. Every time that you exercise self-discipline in keeping your mouth shut, guess what you're doing? Cultivating self-discipline to keep your mouth shut. It's a principle. You apply the principle in this area of your life. I'm going to bite my tongue. I'm going to exercise self-discipline and keeping my mouth shut. It translates into the power of self-discipline to keep your mouth shut. Trust me, I don't know why or how this works, but it translates into the power to keep your mouth shut. It propels self-discipline to keep it private.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It does work.
It's amazing. And women, they say, well, when I tell them to keep it private, they say, well, I think that's something I can do. I mean, you're not asking me not to eat the foods that I love. Keep it private? Okay, I think I can do that. It's more challenging than they realize, but they can do it. And they are propelling their own self-discipline in the food choices and how much they eat, because they have trained themselves to have the self-discipline to keep their mouth shut. It's an amazing thing that all you do is follow the principle, and you will be cultivating and growing that self-discipline. When you keep it private, you enable your brain to problem solve for you. Understand that your brain is a natural problem solver. That's the way it was wired to solve your problems. Without you even trying to say, solve my problem for me, your brain naturally wants to solve your problems for you. So when you have a problem, and I'll just give you a silly example, my boobs are saggy. That's a problem, okay? It's a big problem. So the first thing that my brain does to help me solve my problem is it thinks about it. So I'm going to think about my problem. My boobs are too low. Maybe I should think of another problem for this video, but it's a funny one, okay? So, this is a valid stage of problem solving. Now, first you need to think about your problem. And this is when you are engaging the data. Okay, I'm looking in the mirror, I'm seeing that they're lower. I am putting on my bra and it just doesn't fit the same, okay? I am thinking about my problem, but at the end of the day, my problem still exists. As much as I've thought about it, my boobs are still saggy. But at the end of the day, even though your problem still exists, your brain feels very satisfied that it has helped you solve your problem. And it says, check, I've helped you solve your problem, because it has. That's the first stage of problem solving. I'm going to think about my problem. And again, at the end of the day, your brain feels very satisfied that it's helped you solve your problem, but the problem still exists. My boobs are still saggy no matter how much I think about it. The second stage of problem solving is now talk. Your brain says, now talk about this, because you need to collect the feedback. So when you talk about it, you are engaging feedback. Well, I read on the internet, there's 3 different types of incisions you can get. What kind of incision did you get? What doctor did you go to? How much did it cost you? Were you happy with the results? Now I am collecting feedback and I'm engaging the feedback. But at the end of the day, my boobs are still saggy, as much as I've talked about it. But at the end of the day, the brain is very satisfied that it's helped you solve your problem. It says, check, I've helped you solve your problem today. You talked about it. You engaged the feedback. There's a time and place for thinking about your problem and talking about your problem, because you're engaging the data and you're engaging the feedback. Then, the next thing that you do when you are done engaging the data, and you say, I've thought about it enough, my problem's still here. When you're done engaging the feedback, and I've talked about it enough, but my problem's still here, then the brain is ready to say, take action. Okay, great. I know what incision I'm getting. I know what doctor I'm going to. I know how much it's going to cost, and I know what kind of results to expect from it. Now I can take action when I'm done thinking and I'm done talking about it. And this is when you are engaging the solution. So how many people do you know that just talk on and on and on and on about the same problem they had last week, last month, last year, for year after year after year? And you're like, well, you shut up already and do something about it, right? So I always say, when you're done thinking about your weight, when you're done talking, when you're done collecting feedback from everyone else about your body, your diet, and your weight, then you're ready to take action. But you need to be done thinking about it and talking about it first, to allow the brain to move into that third stage of problem solving, to take action for you.
That's one of my favorites, because for the longest time I was like, I've thought about it so much, I've made so many plans for this, and I'm exhausted just thinking about all the ideas that I have. Why can't I not make it happen? Why can't I put it into action? I was so focused about thinking about it.
And even talking about it.
All these grandiose ideas of weight loss.
And people actually get stuck there.
Yeah.
And when they are forced to stay private about it, okay, for whatever reason, because they're listening to me, and they say, okay, I'm going to do what Shelly says, I'm going to stay private about it, their brain has no outlet to solve their problem. Oh, you're not going to talk about it anymore? Well, I got to do something to help you, right? The brain will naturally move into that third stage of problem solving and enable you to take action because you have stayed private about it and you refuse to talk about it anymore. That will frustrate the brain enough to be like, okay, do something.
Do something about this.
Do something about this. So again, it's a principle that will empower you to put all of this into practice. The last thing is that it protects your power. Because you know your weight loss is not about what you're eating or what you're following or what you're doing. It's not the information. You are wondering, how do I take this information and find the power within myself to put into practice the very thing that I long to do? Okay, that's what people are looking for when it comes to weight loss. The power to put into practice the very thing that you long to do, which women discover they have in the workshop or in the first coaching session. It's inside of them. They're not aware of it yet. They have to experience that. Then they realize, I do have the power to do this. When you stay private about it, you protect your power. So if you go and you speak about it, you're giving some of that away. You're giving it away to everyone that asks you, what are you doing? What about your weight loss? What about your diet? And you talk about it, you're giving away your power that you have inside of you that belongs to only you. So staying private about it protects your power. Every time you speak about it, you dilute it. You just start to, it's like a drip. You start to give it away to whoever wants to talk to you about your weight and your diet. Protect it, and it's no one else's business. The privacy principle, keeping it private, does 5 things for you. It prevents judgment. It provides blessings. It propels self-discipline. Problem solves for you. And protects your power to lose weight. So keep it very, very private. Not even a little bit of, oh, I can't have that. Can't? As soon as you say, I can't have that, what have you implied? I'm on a diet. You know?
Right.
Right. So it's a very little subtle, those 2 or 3 word phrases that we're so used to saying.
Yeah.
Lock and key, privacy, lock and key.
It's like it's a completely different way to rework your brain with how you are interacting with people about something that you should be keeping private to yourself, but just haven't.
Right.